Here are 9 differentials who could give you a massive rank boost in your Game Week 1 draft. Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best differentials that you need to be including in your Game Week 1 draft. I've highlighted players from every single position who I believe are going massively under the radar at the moment, and if you were to put them in your draft, could massively accelerate your rank at the start of the season. If you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I do answer every single question down in the comment section below. And we're trying to hit 1,500 subs before the end of the month. We're about 250 away, so if you do want to help us out, do hit that subscribe button below. But ladies and gentlemen, that is enough waffle from me. Let's dive in to some differentials for your Game Week 1 draft. Martinez is going to be the first player that we are going to highlight, and the only goalkeeper differential I'm including in today's video. He, for me, is going massively under the radar. A lot of people aren't looking at him as a potential option in their Game Week 1 drafts. 5 million, not 5.5. The graphic's wrong, and I've just realised. Whoops. Only 8.1% owned. Yes, Game Week 1 fixture isn't the best with Newcastle away. However, Everton and Burnley in Game Week 2 and 3, and then after that, subsequent good fixtures as well for Aston Villa. I think this man could be a huge differential for you and getting you into a Villa side who are going to have a very good defence this year, with Emery, who statistically speaking has been a very good defensive coach throughout his history in football. So, you know, and Villa last season as well were one of the better defences when he came in from a statistical standpoint. Adding people like Pau Torres as well to that back line to just solidify it that extra little bit is going to massively increase the chances of Martinez picking up clean sheets. Last season, 11 clean sheets, was expected to pick up nearly 14 though, and slight underperformance on his expected points. For me, I think he's a really solid pick to go with. Yes, he is a little bit pricey than the 4.5s, but I don't think you have any rotation issues to worry about with Martinez. Going to be playing in one of the best defences for me this season. They've added quality to that back line, and he is just a quality player as well. We've seen it in the past few years with FPL. He's a very solid scorer, very good shot stopper as well, which is something that is a massive bonus with goalkeepers, obviously picking up save points, and it massively helps them on the bonus point magnet. So that was our first differential and our goalkeeper for today's video. It is Martinez. Let me know what you think of that one, and let's move on to some defenders. Moving into the back line, and we're going to start with a man who has been in every single one of my drafts. I've been raving about this man non-stop. It is Pedro Porro from Spurs. 5 million, 4.4% owned. Yes, the opening fixtures aren't the best for Spurs, but after Game Week 3, they play Bournemouth and Sheffield United in that period. So, you know, really good kind of longer term fixtures with Spurs. Yes, the first two aren't amazing, but we're not here for Pedro Porro's defensive abilities. We're here for the attacking ones. Last season, 13 starts, 3 goals, 3 assists. As you can see, putting up good data as well, and was expected to score slightly higher points in those time periods. I know a lot of people, especially in the stream yesterday that we did where we reviewed people's drafts, and when Pedro Porro came up, a lot of people were very quick to slander him, and I just think they don't know what they're missing out on. This man is very attacking. It seems like he's potentially one of the main right backs as well for Spurs this season, so I don't think you have to worry about game time. They also don't have any European football, so you can't expect any rotation with Europa League or Europa Conference League, so I think he's going to play every single game. We saw in a short space of time last season, after joining in January, what this man is capable, especially in those attacking departments, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be what is key to helping you boost yourself up the ranks. It's switching from these players who just get clean sheets to finding these players who have that little bit of extra something, the goals, the assists, the bonus points, that is going to massively elevate you up the ranks, because when these guys score and get clean sheets, it is mega haul time, and Pedro Porro definitely has that ability in his locker. But yeah, He's the defender that I'm going to recommend as a differential to go in your game week 1 draft. I think he's a perfect example of what people are missing out on. 5 million as well. He's at that price point where if it doesn't work out, there's Luke Shaw. There's obviously the Chelsea defenders a little bit more than him. Then you could easily come down to someone like a Pau Torres or a Matty Cash at 4.5 million. But Pedro Porro, I think he's got to be in your game week 1 draft. Let's move on to my other defender I'm going to recommend for you and your drafts. The second defender that we are going to talk about is again another one who is in my game week 1 updated draft. If you didn't see that video, it is on the channel. Go and check it out. It's a really good draft. Received a lot of positive feedback as well about it, and it might give you some ideas. So go check that out. Obviously, link will be in the description for that one. But we're going to talk about AKANJI. Now, he played the most games amongst Manchester City defenders last season. I know a lot of people are hot on Stones. Obviously, Diaz I've seen floating around in a few drafts as well. But for me, I think AKANJI's got to be the one. Went massively under the radar last season. Arguably one of the signings of the season. He was so solid at times for Manchester City. And with City's good fixtures at the start of the season, up until around game week 8-9, when you're potentially looking to wildcard, this man has, like, they've got the fixtures, he's got the defensive capabilities. Obviously, as you can see as well, the big standout for me there is expected point 114.58, and he only managed to score 82. Something was massively going wrong at City during that time period. I think it was around when they were just conceding goals week in, week out, like losing, like, well, not losing, but winning like 5-1 or 4-1 or 3-1, and we're just conceding the odd goal, absolutely denying them of the clean sheets and denying this man of points. At 5 million, yes, he is a little bit more expensive than you probably want to be paying for a centre-back. Usually I don't like to go for centre-backs as well, but for me, a lot of people are missing out on these City assets. They were the best defence in the league in terms of all the expected data, so you've got to be having a City defender, or at least 2 City players within your game week 1 draft. AKANJI, a player that's going massively under the radar. People aren't looking at him. I don't think people realise that he was the most nailed. I think they've kind of got lost in this kind of Stones, kind of looking at what position he's going to be playing. Is he going to play every single week, John Stones? Probably not. He's probably a little bit more important than AKANJI. So when European football and other competitions do start to kick in, you imagine he's the one that's going to be rotated in and out of the squad. But AKANJI, I think, is going to be a stalwart in that back line. So he is the second defender that I am going to recommend for you to take a look at. Right, in the next section, we're going to look at 5 midfielders. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I've managed to pick 5 differential midfielders with all 10% or lower ownership for you to have in your game week 1 draft. So let's get into that. So here are the 5 midfielders that I have highlighted. I thought it would be better to put them all in a table so you can kind of compare them, because you're probably only going to maybe put 1 or 2 of these guys in your team. So I thought this would be the best way to kind of take a look at everything in a graph, compare all the stats, compare all the key players and all their key metrics as well. Better than kind of individualing players out with using this table. So starting us off, Son Heung-min, obviously the thumbnail man as well, on the back of this kind of display as well. 10 goals, 6 assists for him last season, 9 million and at 5.6% ownership. Yes, it wasn't a great season for Son last year. It wasn't a great season for Spurs in general. They lacked that creativity going forward. Kind of, it seemed like they were in transition as well a lot of the season. Obviously, they had Conte, they had Ryan Mason. They just had so many coaches that had different kind of philosophies and kind of styles that they wanted to play. It was very negative, not suiting to the players that Spurs have. Now they've added Maddison as well to that mix, that little bit of creativity, linking the defense to the kind of attackers. Maddison is an assist machine, and you imagine he's going to link up really nicely with Son and Kane. So I can imagine this season he is going to be absolutely smashing it with that extra creativity in behind him as well. So you do imagine those numbers are going to be so much higher as well. 9 million, bargain bottom price for him, obviously after a disappointing season, but the season before that he was a golden boot winner with 23 goals, so he's definitely got it in his locker. Hopefully Postecoglou can get the best out of this Spurs team, and we do see a little bit more attacking intent, which I imagine we are, because he is very much an attack minded coach. So hopefully that can get the best out of Son and bring him back to being a quality FPL asset. that we have known for the past few seasons. Moving on to the next player that I have kind of recommended in this midfield bracket, and it is Luis Diaz. Missed a large proportion of the season with injury, but did actually start the season quite well. 4 goals, 2 assists, 7.5 million this year and 6.3% ownership. I think he's going to become a lot more of a prolific figure in people's teams, mainly down to the fact that a lot of people are going to be priced out of buying Mohamed Salah in game week 2 as well. Bournemouth at home is an absolutely delicious fixture to be targeting. Personally, I feel that Diaz is potentially got that left-hand side kind of covered. Obviously, there is a lot of Liverpool kind of forward players that are going to be rotating in and out with each other, but I do think Diaz has done enough to warrant that kind of starting spot within the starting 11. The next player is a player I'm very, very much excited to have in my team at some point this season. I don't think game week 1, just down to the fact that Forest's fixtures aren't the best, but if you do have room maybe on the bench, or you think Forest are going to do well over that period, then Morgan Gibbs-White has to be the man that you go for. 5 goals, 12 assists for him last season. He takes their free kicks, he takes their corners, that's where he's picking up a lot, and Forest and Steve Cooper do target set pieces as one of their main route to goals. You think last season how many they actually scored in the end was quite mad for a newly promoted team. Only 4.3% ownership, rock bottom, ladies and gentlemen, below 5%. He will do absolutely wonders for your rank if you do go for him. I am hot on him. I just think Forest fixtures aren't the best, so I maybe would look at one of these other options, but after that period, I think he's definitely a player we want to be bringing into our sides. Moving on to another man who's had a disappointing season last year, it is Raheem Sterling. Obviously made the move from Manchester City to Chelsea, where he scored 6 goals and 4 assists. As you can see, an underperformance on his XG and about the same for his XA. Bargain bottom price for him this year, 7 million and only 4% owned. We don't know what Chelsea are going to be like, but you imagine this man who is a prolific winner with Manchester City, now he's made the switch to Chelsea. Can he get that form back? Because he's been a good player at international level, at the top level. Yes, last season was a dip, but everyone in that Chelsea team was pretty dreadful. Hence a lot of people getting a price drop. So you do imagine this year there is going to be an upturn, and I imagine Sterling is going to be a key figure for Pochettino within his side. So again, a really nice differential that I have seen a few people picking up on, because after game week 2, their fixtures are immense for Chelsea. So it's definitely going to be a team that we are going to be looking to target. It's just figuring out which are the key men. If you can jump on Sterling early, get him at 7 million, low ownership, and he starts banging, you are laughing all the way to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. And the final midfielder we are going to talk about is Solly March, a player that a lot of us did own last season and had a lot of good experiences with. 7 goals, 10 assists for him last season, 8.51 XG, 8.52 XA. 6.5 million, coming at the same price as all the other Brighton midfielders, so your Gross and your Matomas. Obviously 1.1 million more, than Enciso, but obviously that is down to him potentially being a key starter. Yes, Brighton have signed a lot of players. They obviously have a lot of forward players as well within those attacking areas, but when Solly March was fit and firing, he was arguably one of the best Premier League players to watch last season. Really quality, just player on the ball, driving, putting in good passes, getting himself on the score sheet as well. 3.4% ownership. If you compare that to Matoma, who's plus 30%, if you went March over Matoma, you could have a massive rank boost. Obviously, it could go completely the other way if Matoma does bag, but if you think March is the potential better option, which he could be, it's just a question mark of minutes. Who you think is going to get more minutes? Who do you think is going to perform better? I think a lot of people have forgot about Solly March and his ability that he showed last season, but was it just a flash in the pan? Was it a one-season wonder, or can he put up those numbers yet again? Leave it down in the comment section, and also leave down in the comment section who is your favourite out of these 5 midfielders. For me, it's probably Son. I do like the Spurs fixtures after game week 3, but Sterling as well is an appetising player to potentially be targeting. Right, that was the midfield. Let's move on to our forward within the side. Well, not side, but video. There you go. And finishing up today's video is Cody GAKPO, a player that wasn't on my radar until yesterday's stream that I did with my good friend Jake. If you haven't been attending the streams, then what are you doing? You are missing out on some top tier quality FPL content between two good mates, and we just chat about players. Yesterday we went through some drafts and Cody GAKPO did come up as a point of discussion, and Jake kind of highlighted that he sees him in this Firmino role, potentially replacing him now that he is left and being the leading number 9 for Liverpool in their system. Maybe I suggested even a little bit further back, but at 7.5 million, a lack of good other forward options beside maybe like Jesus, then this man does offer a little bit of a cheeky differential. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we like on this channel, a little bit of a cheeky differential. Now with Cody GAKPO, obviously Liverpool's fixtures are a little bit rocky, just nearly threw up all my dinner everywhere all over the mic. Chelsea in game week 1, Bournemouth in game week 2, and then Newcastle away. So it's not the best fixtures for Liverpool at the start of the season, but with this new kind of midfield balance, all the forward players being fit and healthy for the start of the season as well, you can see them being very, very dominant within 2, maybe even all 3 of these games. Last season for Cody GAKPO, 7 goals, 3 assists, okay XG and okay XA. You know, points scored, he did actually outperform his expected points, but we are banking on this season him being settled within that squad. Obviously moved in January, it's always difficult. I think a player needs to have a full pre-season with a squad to kind of get the best out of them. This could be his massive kind of breakout year for him in terms of the Premier League, and absolutely smash it as well. With limited forward options as well, he could be a fantastic asset to own. Again, we're struggling to get Salah in our sides. We're going to need some of the other Liverpool attackers to potentially offer themselves as options this season, and Cody GAKPO could be one of those players if he is leading the line. Obviously, to caveat that and to kind of be the devil's advocate of this situation, Nunez has been given the number 9, so it potentially suggests he's going to be playing a little bit further forward. But then again, to counterpoint that, wow, we're going here. To counterpoint that, it is like a dissertation or something we're like coming out with here. To go against that, obviously Jordan Henderson looks like he's off, and potentially Fabinho. That could mean that Lavia comes in and McAllister potentially plays in the 6 role, meaning that Cody GAKPO could kind of play in like the 10 if they play that 2-10 system that Manchester City have. I think that would potentially get the best out of him, as he does drop a little bit deeper as well. So maybe not the best option, but we're going to have to kind of wait and see on this one. I think in terms of differential forwards, he offers himself as one of the best with the most upside to his potential game. Those were the differentials in today's video. If you feel you've learned something, or you're going to put one of these players in your team, do leave it down in the comment section below. Like the video and subscribe. Like I said, we are trying to hit 1,500 subs on the channel. We do lives, we do lots of other content as well. We're looking to start some so rare content as well on the channel, so if you're into that as well, do hit that subscribe button. But thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day.